Good evening. In breaking news, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has announced that Jamaica has recorded 6 additional cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, taking the total of infected persons to 721. 565 persons have recovered, which is a 78.4% recovery rate. Coming up in our poll conducted by Bill Johnson, we will get answers to questions concerning the country's direction and also analyze the most important local issues and pressing national problems Jamaicans believe that the country is facing right now. Tonight, joining host Nicole Hales will be former General Secretary for the People's National Party, Paul Burke. Our news team spoke with persons on the streets who had this to say.
Before this virus came in, right? You had this thing where they call the Zozo, where a lot of people have lost faith in the government through that, right? Because through the Zozo coming, the state of emergency, they intend to lose quite a lot. You understand? But people invest in their business, right? And at the end of the day, the state of emergency come and take it out. And that doesn't solve it. The government need to come to face the reality that the Zozo doesn't help.
In relation to what the figures issued by Statin and the Ministry of Finance and BOG, I think yes, if their statistics are correct and true, yes, the country is headed in the right direction financially. In relation to other issues, we might be having issues in relation to corruption issues that are still in the fore of the media and have not yet been sorted out. Petrojam being one of them. Right now, COVID is the primary one that is being focused on, but as it's clearly stated that crime has been a long-standing issue in Jamaica, where there still hasn't been any clear case of the authorities being in total control.
Yeah, we need some job in the country now for the youths. When you get jobs to the youths now, you know, so well then crime might cut down. You have somewhere if you go when you get up a morning time, you're up on the corner. You have something to do.
Still making news tonight amid speculations of an upcoming general election. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his focus now is to restore the economy hard hit by COVID-19.
My mind is not on election. My mind is on the economic recovery to make sure that we get back on the track that we were on. And you know, there are some people, all them business about is power. And when them get the power, them forget about you. You will know that I have never forgotten about the people of this country. Never.
Mr. Holness, who was speaking in Anata Bay, St. Mary yesterday during a ceremony to hand over 3 housing units to 3 sisters and their 12 children, says that he is fulfilling his promise to focus on housing for the people.
When I got your approval by virtue of your expression of confidence in the ballot, I made a commitment that I would focus on housing our people. I toured Anata Bay on several occasions, and I always love this town. It's a quaint little town. You have a lovely little seaside there that, if properly developed, could become the engine of this area. I have walked that strip. I have walked almost all the lanes and gone into all the yards, and it is a sad situation. You have good developments going back up to the hill, but you also have some informal settlements up there as well. This area needs the attention of a government that cares.
The Prime Minister announced plans to build a bypass for residents of Anata Bay.
Having toured this area on several occasions and interfaced with the lovely people here, and I return to my office or when I go home, I have to be thinking, and I constantly think, how can we improve the lives of the people in this community? And indeed, I think about the entire country But clearly those areas that I go way up on me, I can see the issues there. And one of the things we have committed to do is that we need to put in place an alternative road around the community. Is that you have traffic that is going through that is not intending to stop, and that traffic literally becomes a constraint on how the town can grow and function. The convenience of the town is altered by that, and therefore we have started to plot a route. It is on our plans to do, and as I promised with the housing project, and I am committing with this, we will have a bypass.
Continuing with the news tonight, a JDF soldier is currently in critical condition following an alleged shootout with gunmen in the August Town area. More on this story with Tamara McHale.
A Jamaica Defense Force JDF soldier is currently in critical condition after being wounded during a shootout with gunmen in the African Gardens community of August Town last night. It is reported that at about 9:45 p.m., a JDF team operating as part of ongoing operations in the community came upon a group of men at a premises on Bedwood Crescent. The men immediately opened fire on the soldiers, leading to a firefight. During the exchange, the JDF soldier was shot in the abdomen. He was rushed to the University Hospital of the West Indies UHWI, where he underwent emergency surgery. The soldier is currently in intensive care awaiting further surgeries. Our news team visited the area where the shooting took place and spoke with one resident who goes by the name Miss Veronica, who gave us an account of what allegedly had transpired.
And after I was sitting down watching television, I just hear the barrage of shot, start a fire. And I listened. When I listened, I realized that it was behind my house. But when I listen, I hear somebody next door. I hear Sean next door said, I'm a working man, I'm not a wrongdoer, I'm not a bad man. And he shot fire. And I hear him say, me get shot. And so after him saying get shot now, I sit down same way and it start to fire faster and faster. I want to lick at the top of my head sitting in the city, and I get up and go flat on my belly and crawl and go around to the next room, and it keep firing. When I listen, my glass start to shatter and my dresser jar start to shatter. And that was it. And after when they were going away now, I hear the sister was calling me to come out, but I couldn't come out. I went to pull the door, but when I went to pull the door, the shot was still fired. So I closed back the door. My granddaughter said, close back the door. And so I closed back the door and I go inside. And after that, him still calling, Miss Veronica, come on. Sean keep on calling. The person who got shot. Come help me now. And I say, Lord, I start to cry now and I say, Lord God, I dead Sean, I go stay over there and dead and I can't come out. Till afterward, now me hear something drive off. And and when I take a stock, I hear him stop. And when I realize something, a vehicle come and pick him up.
Councillor for the Papine Division, Venetia Phillips, in speaking with our news team, says the community is where it is because there is trouble in the community.
I want to just impress upon the residents that we are where we are because we have trouble in the community. So let us get two things clear. One, we want the presence of the security forces until we are able to effectively deal with what is happening in our community. But I have to impress upon the police and the members of the JDF that they must help us to get the citizens to be confident that they can trust them. And so I'm begging that you operate from a place of respect, and I am begging that we operate at a particular standard that will allow the people to want to give us information and want to help us.
Opposition spokesman on national security Fitz Jackson explained that over 60 bullets were fired.
What is very striking is the extent of the shootings that occurred last night. One account I'm getting is that over 60 bullets were fired in that small space. From a layman's standpoint, even from a security standpoint, that's a lot of bullets, which seems like it was open warfare. I think there's a lot of questions to be answered. And I will meet in with the commanding officer of the JCF a little later on this morning. In fact, I have an appointment the next half an hour to get their perspective on what happened and how the matter is going to be handled. But what is beyond a doubt and requires no further analysis is that some security arrangements must be in place for this particular community. And it is compounded by the fact that in the general community here, we have been having a number of shootings and persons have died, and some answers are required from the security forces as to what steps are going to be taken.
For Mello TV News, I am Tamara McHale.
In other news, the Ministry of National Security will continue to facilitate crime intervention and prevention strategies in targeted communities with the formal ending of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP. Speaking at a Jamaica Information Service JIS think tank yesterday, Acting Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of National Security, Shauna Trowers, says members of targeted communities will still be able to access the services the CSJP provided through the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies. Ministries that will be continuing service delivery in targeted communities are Labor and Social Security, Health and Wellness, Education, Youth and Information, and Justice. The National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, Child Diversion Restorative Justice, Victim Support Unit, National Parenting Support Commission, NPSC, and Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH will also be providing services in these communities. In news from St. James, a security guard is in critical condition in hospital after being shot and seriously injured by men who attempted to carry out an armed robbery at a Chinese-operated supermarket along Market Street yesterday. Reports from the Barnett Street Police coming into our news center are that shortly after 2 p.m., the security guard was on duty at the supermarket when two masked men entered the establishment and attempted to rob the operators. A struggle developed between the men and the security guard, and he was shot. In news from the capital, the police have arrested a suspect who reportedly attacked and fatally stabbed a 44-year-old man in Kingston on Wednesday. The deceased man has been identified as Damian Carter of Mollines Lane in Kingston. Reports are that at about 10:45 p.m., Carter went to visit a woman in the Plum Lane area in St. Andrew when he and the man got involved in an argument. A knife was brought into play and Carter was stabbed several times. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. The accused man was subsequently arrested. In news from Trelawney, a team of officers there arrested and charged 30-year-old O'Dane Allen with illegal possession of firearm following an operation conducted in the Cranville district. Reports coming into our news center tonight are that at about 6:10 a.m., the team was conducting a search of a premises in the area when Allen was seen throwing an object through a door. The object was retrieved and found to be a .38 revolver. He was subsequently arrested and charged. Back in St. James, the Cornwall Regional Hospital, CRH, is the beneficiary of $3 million worth of hospital equipment from MBJ Airports Limited. Chief Executive Officer of MBJ, Shane Monroe, made the presentation at the Cornwall Regional Hospital's grounds yesterday. Now, the equipment is comprised of 10 beds, 2 vital sign monitors, 2 rolling stands, and 4 infusion pumps. The remaining items are expected to be delivered to the hospital by the end of July. Mr. Monroe says that MBJ is honored to be able to provide these items and make this contribution to the facility and the well-being of the people of Jamaica. He is also pleased with the government's efforts to contain the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, especially regarding the systems established for the opening of the country's borders. And those were the stories making news. I am Shelley-Ann Hill. We'll now join Nicole Hales with Decision 2020.